Kathy's coming in.
And here we are. Welcome everybody to our Thursday book launch. I'm super excited. We have two of our community members who have been here for 5 years since the beginning. And to me are kind of cornerstones, always bring me joy to see them. And we get to celebrate them tonight with poetry postcards. So I want to welcome y'all and introduce you, if you don't already know, Laura Younger and Caren Stuart. You're about to be your socks blown right off. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, and we get to see, I love the idea of the postcards and the poetry and the pairing and the amazing postcards that we've gotten to see is what made me think we've got to see more, and I need to see them in a group. Caren Stuart is an award-winning intuitive poet, writer, artist, maker, living in the wilds of Chatham County, North Carolina, where she writes and or creates daily. And if you haven't seen, Tricia got knocked off. We're going to bring her back in.
I got her.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're on twice, Tricia.
About to meet that creativity full on. Find her on Facebook and Instagram as Convoluted Notions by Caren Stuart. Find her talking with Angela Driven. Do not miss this. Find this on YouTube and a variety of creative happy makers at Great Goodness. I'll put that into the chat section so you can look up the YouTube channel of Great Goodness. It's doing really amazing work. Here comes Regina.
Yay, Regina's coming.
At some point, her website will be live at karenstewart.weebly.com, but not this week, guys.
Not this week,
Laura, not happening. Laura Younger, our dear community member, Laura Younger, is in Alexandria, Virginia, working as a government plod. Why? Why do I get to have a word like that? Thank you. I love that, Laura. And scribbling in her spare time. She will be forever grateful that her mother taught poetry and let her read The Teacher's Guide to Sound and Sense. I love that. Her poetry has appeared in Artemis Journal, Kakalak, the Poetry Society of Virginia Centennial Anthology, and of course, the North Carolina Poetry Society's annual awards-winning Pinesong. Welcome, everybody. And I'm going to turn it right over to Caren and Laura.
Okie doke.
Put y'all in pose spotlights.
Oh Lord.
I think I can.
Oh my gosh, there's my big face. Okay.
Karen's gonna lead in with how to do postcards, right?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that first. So well, let's see, how do we want to do this?
Now I can screen share if that works best.
Okay, that would be good. I did because I try to be overly organized and my brain's not working too well this week. So I did a sheet with just things that I wanted y'all to know about making postcards. Just because we were talking earlier too about anytime you're trying to start doing some kind of new crafty thing, there's like this learning curve about, which supplies do I need to get? What should I do? I'm not sure about that. So this list that Malika has just slung up is a thing I typed up today that just kind of refers to some of the things that I think are really cool to have if you're going to actually make postcards. But the main thing that we want to get across, I guess, tonight is why are we talking about making poetry postcards? And I think it's largely because Laura and I have been doing it for a while. And it's if you write poetry, it's a really fun way to kind of get out of your usual head and think small, for one thing. And if you make the card, which you don't have to make your cards, you could buy postcards. It's fun to do that crafty bit of work that you maybe don't usually treat yourself to doing. So anyway, I'm going to just read a little thing at the top of this because it kind of describes how I came to know poetry postcards. And that was through the yearly Poetry Postcard Festival that is a fundraiser for the Cascadia Poetics Lab in Auburn, Washington. And what you do with that is go online and find them. And their address is right here on my notes. So what you do is you pay a $15 fee, and it's a fundraiser for them, and you sign up to create 31 original spontaneous poems, and that's the main idea behind the poetry postcard is you don't overthink it, and you just go. Just like, okay, I'm just going to write something that is not planned and see what happens. So you're going to sign up to create 31 original spontaneous poems on postcards, send one to each person on the list that you'll receive, and hopefully you'll receive one from each of your recipients that they've written. Hit or miss. Sometimes you get most of them, sometimes you don't. The cards are to be sent between July 4th and August 31st. And I've got a website address there so you can get details on that. And they are taking registration now for next July's Poetry Postcard Festival. It's so much fun, y'all. I just have to say, it can be stressful, but you can, just kind of do it at your own pace. Laura's laughing. She's like, yes, it can be stressful.
If you're going to make your own cards, the trick is to get them done before July. And
I
did
would
that
say
this
that.
year.
Yeah, I didn't do it this year, and it was very stressful trying to actually create the art for the cards and do the poems all by the deadline without losing your mind. So I would recommend maybe if you're going to make your own postcards, maybe do that at a fun, leisurely pace before, and then you have them so that you can write the poems on them without freaking out about trying to make them. So my big advice for this process, if you are going to be making postcards that actually go through the Postal Service, is to visit the USPS online for postcard requirements. I'm ashamed to admit that I have never done that fully until this go round. So I've been doing some things wrong. But if you go to the postcard, to the postcard information on USPS site, it will tell you that there are minimum sizes and maximum sizes for postcards. You should pay attention to that. They don't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you, if you're going to make postcards and you're going to send them through the mail and you want people to be able to read everything that you think they're going to read, you really do need to leave about an inch of space all the way across the top of your card and probably a half an inch across the bottom, because your card's going through those machines and it's going to mark it. It's going to do
I
the
will
little
say, to
postal
interject
thing.
on that, you do get some postcards that have obscured language on them because you've got those.
Yeah, you miss part of the poem if the postage
But I
thing
had
is
one
going
this
through.
year that was obviously somebody done collage and they'd sent the original collage. I make photocopies. That's another piece of advice because it's easier
Yes.
to get it through the machine. And it actually said on the back, and it was printed, it was stamped by the Postal Service. How did they put it? Not machinable, and it was hand franked. So whatever little post office she went to paid attention. I don't think you're going to see that too often.
So you really do want to try to do what the Postal Service wants you to do to get the cards through the actual mail. And Laura touched on this too, is in the past, we've both sent our original crazy postcards with all kinds of different textures and glued things on them. And a lot of times they actually reach where they're supposed to go. But then you don't have your original piece of art anymore, and that's kind of sad. So I'm really recommending, if you make the postcards, be a hoarder, keep your original art, and make a copy of your postcard on 80-pound paper, 80-pound cardstock. Minimum. I think it could go 80 to 114, but 80 is minimum, and that'll work. Very important. If you send it on some floppy paper, it is going to be eaten by a machine at the post office.
Even the ones that are normal get eaten by the post office. So that might be why I only got like 24. It's a
thing. Yeah. If you end up missing some cards, that somebody's post office has probably eaten them in their machine. So, so if you're going to make a card, and send it through the mail, make sure that it's on at least 80-pound paper. And when you go to buy paper at an office supply store or sometimes Walmart or a hobby craft store,
can we post this with? Are we going to post this document with I guess the replay or on
I can put it up
page?
in the Facebook event page, and if people want a copy, you can go to the Facebook, or you could reach out to any of us, any three of us, to make sure you get a copy of it. Because I was just thinking the same thing. I definitely want to keep this.
Yes, if anybody, y'all can send me an email if you want. It's KarenStewart@gmail.com. It's a real mysterious email address. Everything's one word, no capitals. KarenStewart@gmail.com. I'll be glad to send you this document. So I'm going to just keep on going here about the making of the cards. And then we are actually going to share some poems that we've written on the cards and talk about some other stuff too. But I do have some, I do want to tell you, making postcards, here's what you want to do. Get newspapers, magazines, maps, receipts, junk mail, torn up books. I am not a fan of tearing up a perfectly good book, y'all. But
This is
if
if you
you
want to
could go,
collage. Obviously, some people will just
yeah, you're going to be collaging, so you want paper stuff. Thrift stores, just like if they have like raggedy, falling apart books already, get them, and then tear these pages out. Also, this is a really good thing to use. Tell all your friends to save their magazines and give them to you, and maybe pony up and subscribe to an art magazine for yourself. Read it, enjoy it, and then tear pages out of it. These things that are in every grocery store, I think, or little community market, the newsprint things going on in your area, grab these free things. They are great to read, of course, so you know what's going on in your area, but also because they have great the paper is a great texture, and they usually have wonderful photographs and artwork in them. So that yeah, there's that. Just get just any kind of weird piece of paper, save it, because it will make for a cool collage, probably. I think that's what I did. It's fun. Okay, I'm going to do this really quickly. My pitch on great supplies that will change your life and rock your world. Here's the number one thing. If you don't listen to anything else I say about making things, get this stuff. You know what, Malika? I think at this point you could probably take the thing down and I'll just be showing people what these things look like because they're all listed on the thing. Oh, there's me again. Okay. I just want y'all to see them so they're easy to find in the craft store. These puppies will change your life. Elmer's Craft Bond Extra Strength Glue Stick Permanent Bond. This is what you want. This is your glue, people. It's like it's not liquidy. It's like lip balm. It's like chapstick. Do not put it on your lips. But it's really easy to use. It works great on paper, and you will not regret buying this. Buy tons of it. It's so good. And I think I've used every kind of glue and liquid glue, hard glue, and it has no fumes. It's easy to clean up. You can paper towel and water. It's so easy. The other thing I'm just going to be an idiot about, y'all. My favorite pen in the whole world is the Micron. This is what they look like. They have them in art supply stores. Micron, Pigma Micron, O2 archival ink pen. Oh my great goodness, y'all. They're a little bit pricey. Get them on sale. I think this one's probably like $6. It can write smaller than 12-point font on a postcard. I'm not kidding you. You cannot imagine how many words you can write on a postcard with these. Also, they don't smear, they don't fade. They're archival quality, so they'll be on that postcard forever. And I sketch with them on the cards too. So they're really nice to work with. Great control. They don't bleed. They like when you put the dot down, the dot stays that size. They're fabulous. My second choice on pens is the Sharpie Ultra Fine Point. Sharpie Ultra Fine Point. It's a permanent marker. It won't smear or bleed. It does have a stink to it a little bit. Yeah, it's got that ink smell to it. Anyway, the Pigma does not have a scent to it. So these are my two. This one, my absolute favorite, but the Sharpie is a close second. The other thing, which I tested for the first time this year that I really couldn't believe is Zebra, Z-Grip, and probably any other good mechanical pencil. You can write on a postcard in pencil and it will make it through the mail and look just as good as it did. Oh, you're doing it too long. Yeah. So one thing about doing the postcard poems, writing on the postcard is like when you're writing your poem in ink on the postcard, it's kind of like you're all in, right? But If you write it in pencil, it's a lot less stressful, and it gets where it's going, and it looks great. The machines don't seem to smear it or anything. So that was a big awakening for me after all these years making postcards and just sweating the ink thing. Anyway, so those are my main things that I am passionate about. And what else did I want to tell you? Oh, just a few like little extra doodad things. Y'all, a metal ruler. It's great. You can get nice straight lines with it, right angles. Just think about it. It's good, easy. They're not that expensive. Treat yourself to a good pair of big scissors and a pair of small scissors too. It just makes your life so much easier when you're cutting out. You think that you're just going to be tearing paper, but you're going to want to like cut little, Laura knows, you're going to end up wanting to cut little teeny tiny stuff because they're just perfect. And you know that needs to go on your postcard. So this thing, y'all, it's not necessary, but it sure is nice. It's a brayer. Get yourself a brayer if you like. It will, once you use your wonderful glue and everything looks great, man, if you go over those pages with the brayer, it's going to smooth everything out. It's going to make sure that the glue went just to the edges of those pages. Get one with a nice rubber roller and the metal handle. I know you're going to want to buy the plastic one, but trust me, it's going to break in half. So nice brayer. If you want, it's just a treat. You don't have to have that. What else? Oh, okay. If you're going to get fancy, I just told Malika I would share this. If you want to get really fancy, you can buy one of these things. It is a paper cutter. And it's the kind that will not, it's not a guillotine like the ones we were talking about earlier that everybody had in their childhood. But it lets you, it's got these little slidey things on it. And it lets you cut like a whole piece of paper, straight, right angles. It's nice. It's a treat. You don't need it, but you would like it.
It helps if you want to cut your own postcards.
It does help with, yeah, that's the main
And
thing.
I
If
do
you
4 by 5 inch postcards because that I can fit 4 on a page and
yeah,
photocopy.
yeah. So
It's a
it
little
just makes your
innovative,
life, it makes your life easy. Yeah, it does make things easier. Here's something you absolutely don't need, but I'm just gonna say, I love to go to the dollar store and buy jumbo playing cards. These are hideous. I'm not buying them because of how they look. I like them because the giant playing cards are they're a nice weight. It's a good size. And they're kind of I don't know, I like the coating on them. They're sturdy. So a lot of times these are 2 of the poetry postcards that I made, the postcard part of them. And the back still looks like the card, but I'm going to put some fancy paper on the back, so I like them better. I like to make my poetry postcards start with a card this size, and sometimes I will just, to make the postcard, you can lay this artwork thing that you've made. You just take that, which is not big enough to be a postcard. You can lay it on the printer and then put a white piece of paper or a colorful piece of paper on top of it and put your cardstock in the printer. That's what you're going to print on. Set it to print, and then it will come out and you can make it any size you want because now it's got your artwork and a lovely frame around it that you can make any size. So that's a really cool thing. And y'all, you can do that in Office Max also. You can take your cards, put them on their glass. Yeah. You did that, right, Laura? Yeah. And just put them on their thing, put your paper behind it if you need to make them bigger, and make your copies at the Office Max that way. So I like to keep cards not just as postcards, but I like to just make the cards, enjoy them, hoard them. I send copies to the people that I said I'm going to send them to. I keep my originals and I just pull them out periodically and enjoy looking at them. And a lot of times they will inspire a totally different poem than the one that I've already written to them. And that is like bonus, so much fun, super happy maker. Okay. I think that's all I want to say about that.
Okay, Forrest.
That was a lot, right? Okay, I'm done. That's me talking about supplies. Next up, Laura, are you going to you going to share some cards?
Yeah, I should be. Do you still have our photos or do I need to put mine up? Malika? Because I actually have,
Oh,
I
Laura's
can
going to
find
share
it.
the ones that she sent you that you used for the for the blurb
Yeah,
about
perfect.
this event.
If you want,
Yeah.
you have the ability to screen share, that'd be great. I could also look for them. So
I got
whichever
'em.
works. Okay, perfect. Let's do it that way then.
Or you can go old school like I'm going to do, Laura, and just hold mine up and talk
Oh my
about it.
God, this is showing all kinds of other stuff.
Oh,
Hold on, let me enlarge this. Okay, so you all can see this?
oh,
Perfect.
that's beautiful. Yeah.
No, I don't know about beautiful. Here's the thing. I just do what I feel like doing. I love using maps and
Mm.
collages, and I liked the perspectives on these two images. And when I found the lost and found, I was like, oh, okay, I got that. That's there. That's given me a whole picture and something to write about. I almost always write an ekphrastic poem. And I will say, because they're supposed to be short poems, these aren't always poemy poems. There's some imagery, but not a whole lot of metaphor, not a whole lot of reworking, because these are supposed to be spontaneous, written on the fly, and you're done and you send the poem. So this one's called Lost and Found, as you might guess.
Yay.
Find your path, straight and narrow or winding, wide and full of signs that point you into not quite right byways. But maybe that's the point. Sometimes a wrong turn leaves you lost on a back road, but that next route takes you where you need to be. And once again, you found your way. I always do something kind of simple. I've gotten some terrible poems from this poetry postcard fest, but I've gotten some really phenomenal ones too. So I don't really feel too badly about having something I think might be a little bit middle of the road. This one,
No.
it's a little, I don't know, distorted, but it's a foxglove. And Caren and I have made cards together many times, and I totally glommed onto a lot of pages from this one book that she had that she was allowing me to tear up that had the habitats of different flora. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. And actually, I have these out of order. Foxglove habitat. Dear Foxglove, you rampage through roadside ditches in your pink and yellow, red and lavender dance, speckled throats tempting the bees, friend to the frail of heart and poisoner alike. That one was fun to write.
Oh, I love that, Laura. I'm sorry,
Love
I'm blurting.
digitalis. Oh, you can, thank you. I appreciate it. This one's one of my shorter ones. And every once in a while you do something, and this was random. I was just like, okay, there's I think the map behind it is North Carolina, and the image came from, I want to say it was Pine Straw, and it was some article about people who lived in the area that were African American, and this guy was like, had his hand out holding something, and I went, oh, I have to have him hold this picture. So I put that together, and it's called Hold the Past. How we tell our history depends so much on the color of the hand that holds it.
Nice.
That's my political
Oh,
poem.
oh, Laura.
That was kind of fun.
Wow. Wow.
And this one, not real happy with. See if I can enlarge this. This is obviously it's the frog prince. You can sort of tell she's in her bed and whatever. And the thing I find interesting about the frog prince is that there are a number of different ways that she turns this frog into a prince. And one of them is that she kisses him, and the other one is that she lets him sleep in her bed 3 times. But there's yet another one that's in this poem. Where are you? Fairy tales. Listen, princess, there's no perfect ending. That frog is just a frog, and he isn't turning into a prince, no matter how hard you throw him up against your bedroom wall. That's the third way, threw him against the wall. I don't know where I saw that one. I thought it was a terribly violent version, but it tickled me, so I wrote about it. And I think I only have one more. Oh, this fascinated me because there was an article in one of the magazines I was tearing up at Karen's house yet again, and Rivers Off a Barn Roof. I'll read the first part. When I was a small boy, my father used to tell me about a barn located at the headwaters of the Potomac River, where a dividing ridge in the Appalachian Highlands separated the Potomac watershed from that of the James. The water from one side of the barn goes into the Potomac, he said, while the water from the other side drains into the James. Two of America's most great historic rivers originate here. I'm not going to read through the rest of it because it's just a little more of the article. I call this one River Run. Build your life at the headwaters of two rivers, one that ends in a swamp and the other in plantations and tobacco.
Oh,
So that was a little political too. But those are the only ones I brought to share. Good thing that I was short because Caren gave you a whole lot of information on how to make these. I'm glad you did that though, because it's really important that people kind of understand how
so much.
how you can do this. Now, how do I stop share? There it goes. Okay, we're done. Caren,
Oh Laura, that was so, oh my gosh.
That was fun.
That was so good. Okay, I brought 4 poems, but I talked too much about how to make cards. So I think I'm just going to talk about 2 of my 2. Yeah, I'm just going to do 2.
Show all 4, Caren.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's so, it's
They're
so
short.
wonderful. I've been wanting to have multiple poems, multiple postcards. So thank y'all. It's amazing. It's multi-gifted, like Regina just wrote. So yes, all of them, Caren.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay, well, all right, I'll try to talk really fast. Malika, thank you for having us and letting us just do this because it's so much fun. Just
I gotta stop looking at the
and I love being with all these great people in this poetry thing that you do. It's just so wonderful. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try to go through these pretty quickly. This, and I'm going old school, y'all, because I'm a little impaired from trying to get over COVID still. So I can't work the screen share, so I'm just going old school. So this is a postcard that I created. And I'll just talk real briefly about how I made it. Can y'all see it okay? Let me get behind it. Wait, how about that?
Yeah.
Is that good?
That's
Yeah,
perfect.
okay.
That's good.
Okay. So on this one, I started by just tearing a random dictionary page out and gluing it to a small card. This card was like, it's like 3 inches tall. Then I color penciled the pages in because I didn't like the color of the pages. So I color penciled them in. Then I took my handy micron ink pen and sketched some flowers in a vase. Then I took my watercolor pencils and colored in the flowers and then hit them with a little bit of water because I like the transparency. Then I laid the small card on behind a piece of decorative paper and put it on the printer and made this card out of it. So that's what happens when you do that. You get that look. So this was the original card. And then this is my decorative paper behind it. And that's my postcard. And so with this, so this is the other thing I think is really important too. So no pressure when you're doing the poetry postcard festival or your ideas, okay, I'm going to make these cards and then I'm going to write these poems. A lot of the cards I made, I'm like, oh, that was so much fun. I love that card. And the poem that I ended up writing on the card and sending it has absolutely nothing to do with the card. And most of the poetry postcards that I've received through the years have little to nothing to do with what's on the card. So you can just totally free yourself from worrying about that. I just wrote a random, very short haiku-ish poem and sent it with this. And then when I was putting this together for the talk tonight, I looked at it and I was like, oh gosh, I think another poem's coming. So here's what that turned out to be. Considering a scrap of an F page. And I just was kind of banging off the random words on this card. Okay, considering a scrap of an F page. Licentious, generous, guiltless, spontaneous. Words on a page. I ripped from a poorly aged dictionary. I sketched over some of the other words on that page. Something like roses, some raggedy blooms supported by hopeful sprigs of some sturdyish stems with some leaves of some kind, in some kind of a poorly thrown cattywampus clay pot, which I colored in. with watercolor pencils on a whim. Maybe hoping to make something like a yes and no card I might use to glean some kind of understanding about something abstract, or maybe to just have something to muse over. Art is art. Maybe something like that. So that was a poem. It just made me happy. It kind of ended up being about writing
I
in
love
response
that.
to postcards. Who
Cattywampus.
knows? Who
Love that.
knows? Cattywampus. Yeah, cattywampus. Okay, and this one, this postcard is totally images pulled out of magazines. The first image I put on there was the mother with the child at the water's edge, just because it really touched me. And then I was like, well, I need to weird this up a little bit. So I found the feet and the wolf dog, and I ripped that out and just stuck it in the corner because I thought it looked a little menacing and weird, and maybe that talked to what was on the mother's mind. And then I just felt like I needed some balance. So there was a snake plant in a garden magazine, and I cut that out and stuck it on the beach. Uh, and that's the amount of thought that went into the card. It was just like, oh, this is interesting. I'm gonna put some glue down and do that. And the poem that I ended up sending with this card, I called Haikuish Ponder. So many worlds within, even the seemingly smallest of tide pools. And that was it. And I was like, okay, that'll work. And then when I was pulling it together for this thing tonight, this poem came, which I kind of like too. And so this is a mother-in-law's tongue, I think, and I think that the botanical name for it is Dracaena, which I'm probably not pronouncing correctly, but I'm going with that anyway. Dracaena grows where no one knows. Young mother, breathing, cool mist, gray air, in. Whisper salty surf, in. Holds wolf heart, warm, in ribs cage. Allows unfurling tides to wet dawn's rising kiss of light. So that just kind of made me happy, and totally different than what I had been thinking when I put the card itself together, which was a lot of weirdness. So there's that. There's that. Okay, this one. This is a card that I made of first started with the book pages, random book pages. Then I had to color them in because that makes me happy. And then I had found this lovely, I think this was in a calendar, a Japanese ink blot painting thing. I thought, well, that's lovely. I'll put that on there. And then I found this woman holding the journal in her lap. And I was like, well, she needs to go in the middle and look like maybe she's thinking about a bunch of things swirling around her. So then I glued some other things on the other side of her. And I ended up writing this weird poem while I was realizing that I, in fact, was coming down with COVID last week. So this is called After If Point X. And I pulled the if point X because that's somewhere in the text that popped up on this card. After If Point X. A strangely impressive little or nothing wafting into quite right out of quiet night. Yet isn't it ever overseeing what nobody knows? Chew on the click of the pen, the disappeared shadow of the pen, the question mark, dash, ellipsis, the of the unfurling of waves. Dawn is on, dawn out of itself into a great wide open, on, and so on. And so that's what happens when you take your poetry postcards to bed with you when you have COVID, is you end up writing a really weird poem. And this is the last one I'm going to expose y'all to. So this actually came from, I don't know if you can you see the empty space I'm pointing to on my wall right there? Okay, that's where this usually hangs. And this is a collage that I made on a board years ago. It's just random. I don't know. I just like it. And I was running a little bit short on postcards this year because time crunch. So I was like, I got to figure out a way to make some postcards fast. So I started pulling art that I've made off the walls, and I just put this down on my printer and printed a piece of cardstock out and cut it into 4 pieces. And I ended up with this postcard that I really like. It's abstract. It's weird. Yeah, so that was one that I sent with a completely unrelated poem. And then again, as I'm putting this together for tonight, here's the poem that came out. This is another feverish poem that I wrote in the last couple of days. But I was happy about this because it actually, I don't know why this little postcard, something in, oh, I know what it was, this little fabric strip there of weirdness. It just made me think about something from when I was a child and my mom sewing, trying to make our clothes right when we didn't have any money. So I was really happy that this poem came to me because I hadn't addressed it in the past. And this is clever, the stitching together of rick rack, paddywhack, throw a dog a bone. My family in the 70s, we could not buy new blue jeans at the start of every school year. So one year, my mother sewed the rounded zigs and zags of some scraps of pink rickrack to some sturdy strips of denim, and then stitched the sturdy strips onto the bottoms of my least worn out bell bottoms. Come hell or high waters, she would not have me waiting around looking as cash poor as we actually were. So that made me so happy to just kind of have that memory. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I needed to address that. So anyway, I think that I'm going to end with that one because I think that's kind of the magic of like going outside your usual writing zone and, making some art, looking at the art you've made and just going wherever it takes you. I think that's the fun of the poetry postcards.
For sure.
Oh, that was amazing. I'm so glad that y'all, agreed to do this and that we had a, cancellation so that we could have this time together. I mean, I'm sorry that, that the other person wasn't able to make it, but if y'all want to unmute and yeah, come hell or high waters. Christy wrote, y'all are making me want to, create. And that's what I thought. I did
Yes.
this as a workshop. That was amazing. Y'all did a great job explaining the process and how you do it, and that is awesome. But people may still have questions, and so feel free to unmute and ask them of Caren
Yeah.
and Laura.
This is more a comment, but I just have so much admiration for you guys for what you produced. I mean, that's amazing.
Oh,
Saying that, it would totally stress me out to have
what?
to write 31 poems and but I would love to do it as a workshop, like have everybody together doing it and like have one night of doing it and like feel like
Okay.
a community
Fun.
activity.
Absolutely.
But
I
I think
feel like we're going to make that happen.
yeah, I admire that you guys have done that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I have to agree with Marjorie. To me, it seems very overwhelming, like 31 images and poems and I know me, I wouldn't start ahead of time, but I do think I would really enjoy the process of doing it together as a group. And the one thing I found
Yeah.
fascinating is that I love the poems, and I feel like from what y'all were saying, it kind of stretched you past or beyond what you might have written had you not made that image. That seemed
Yeah.
like part of the discovery of it
Yeah.
all. Caren, to hear you say, a new poem came from it. If you're keeping them, you could look back on them and see if it, because that is communication of the subconscious or the creative mind to the self. And to
Yeah.
revisit it would be another opportunity
Yeah.
to, listen.
That's why I
Yeah.
photocopied them on her advice this year because I wasn't doing that. And
Okay.
I was just sending them out into the world. And I had some photos of them because I wanted to record it, but I was like, no, I want to keep the card and maybe write something different. And one of the reasons that I got as many done as I did ahead of time was because every time I would go visit Caren, we would spend a few hours working on those. And she's got a great studio with all kinds of stuff to make collages with. So I would have to say that a great many of my items, like the background of this card is
Hold it back some, Laura. It's got glare on
see if
it.
that makes a difference. Oh,
Oh, there it
yeah,
goes.
the
Yeah.
background of this is
Yeah.
what do you call it? A pattern, a fabric pattern. I think we
Oh,
picked
yeah.
up
Yeah.
I think we picked up dress patterns and really old Butterick patterns at a thrift store and
We
started
did.
using those for background. So anything you can think of. Of course, the
Yeah.
image is from a Mother Goose book that I cut up. So I didn't really get over my reluctance to tear into books. So if you can find junky books that are damaged and
Junky, yes, please don't tear up perfectly good books, but like just the filthy, I have a good source for books because we have we're very rural, so we have a collection center down the road from us that's a fenced in thing with dumpsters, but it also has a swap shack in it with tables where you can put clothes and dishes and anything that you don't want that somebody else might want. You just put it in there and people take it. And there's always books in there. And I take the rattiest, most disgust. You cannot believe some of the books I take. I have to leave them like outside for a couple of days because I'm like, oh, I don't know about bringing this in the house. Yeah. But yeah, so please don't buy new books and tear them up. But the ratty books that are already torn up, yeah, get those. They're great. Yeah.
I just want to say, like, so many people have written that when I send the chat section to you, you're going to see what y'all have done. You have so many converts that are now saying, I think I want to do this. This sounds like fun.
It is
kind of a
so much fun.
conversation.
You don't even have to do the Cascadia Poetics.
No, you don't have to do the
challenge. You could just, I feel like making a postcard today, and then I'm going to photocopy it, and I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to send it to my friend so-and-so, and I'm going to write a poem on it. Because I've done that spontaneously with Caren, my owl poem. Yeah.
Oh yeah, your owl one is swinging in front of me right now. Yeah.
Swinging. Now I kind of want to see how is it swinging?
Well, I'm gonna turn this around.
Caren and I were drinking on the deck one night, and we heard this sound that we thought sounded like howler monkeys, but it was really a screech owl. We just didn't know it. We had to identify them.
You're literally, yes, I love that. You've made it into a mobile.
It's
so
a
she
mobile,
gets all these cards and she makes a mobile and swaps them out sometimes, don't you? So you can look at different ones.
I love that. Oh. Yeah, y'all have really inspired. And Pat had made a very good point that, this might be something very different, a new way, a novel way to kick yourself out of a poetry rut. We all.
It is. Yeah, it's a great way. Yeah, the cards. Yeah, and really, it's great if you want to do the poetry postcard festival and have that pressure of making the commitment and sending. I mean, it's great. It's fun, and it will definitely get you out of your head. It'll light a fire under you. But just the joy of making the cards, and like Laura says, we every time we get together, pretty much we make cards. And you don't have to, you can just, there's nothing wrong with hoarding your art, or you can print it and make a card for your friend or your relative or whatever, hang it up in your house, put it on a mobile, whatever, or just pull it out occasionally and see if it speaks to you.
Well, I almost think you could use it like cards, like you use prompts, but it's like we were saying before, prompts can sometimes really trip me up. And something that is more, they would make good gifts. Something that's more open like this, I would like. Other questions for Caren and Laura?
Comments, questions, complaints?
It's not really a question. Well, it's not on topic, but Caren, what are your earrings? I've been staring at them.
Oh, okay. I have to plug this guy. These are made by a North Carolina artist in Burnsville. So Pat may know this guy, John Robertson. Lord, I hope I'm getting his name right. Pat, do you know? Richardson, John Richardson. No, I don't know.
Okay. I need to know.
Sorry, you guys, fever. Okay. This guy's an amazing artist. He's kind of he does like we have several of his 3D weirdo sculpture things. So these are pull tabs. I love these so much.
This is wonderful.
I have to tell the quick story behind these though. We went to Burnsville because of Helene. My husband and I are trying to go to the mountain since then and shop with the artists there because so many people lost all their work and their livelihood. Anyway, so we've been going there, and I told Brian when we went on this trip, I said, okay, selfish, because we're trying to buy gifts for family and everybody for, I said, I'm putting you on notice. I need some earrings that have silver, gold, and copper in them, and they need to be really big because my hair's gone crazy and I want people to see them. And daggone if we didn't walk in this little shop and there these were, and I'm like, it's like angels saying, I'm like, those are mine. So thanks for the question.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jay, it's like you knew.
Yeah.
He's a paid audience member.
Go buy art, y'all. Support. I know we support each other as poets and writers, but support artists of all kinds.
Yeah.
It's tough to be an artist. Yeah, it's
Sorry.
tough. Yeah.
That was so much fun. I knew I was going to enjoy it. I didn't think we would get a workshop out of it where we're definitely doing this.
We got to do the workshop, right?
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
So I think what we'll do is I put it at the, what you created to kind of talk about what supplies would be helpful. I put it as an attachment in the chat section. If for some reason, thank you to Lynn for suggesting that. If for some reason you can't download it or you don't have it, let me know or let Caren know. And I'll make sure you get it so that we can create this workshop. I think we'll give it some time so people, you already got it printed out, Joan?
Yep.
What kind of operation are you throwing?
Wow.
I'm on it.
Yeah, it was, and I love hearing the different topics that the postcards brought out, and it makes me wonder about, what it is that we're drawn to and how that starts a conversation in a poetic sense. I just find that fascinating, and that you can come back to it, Caren, and have a totally different poem.
Yeah, it's really, I think it's interesting, but it makes sense, right? Because every day that you wake up, you're a different person than you were the last time you woke up, right? So when you come to, and I think it's especially fun when you come to something that you yourself created and you come back to it as your new person that day. It's still got some of that energy for whatever cuckoo made it, right? But now you're a different person, you come to it. So it makes sense to me that it's just like, surprise, here's something new for you. Have your way with it.
And what a fabulous that you had. Say it again, Cindy.
It's open to interpretation. In other words, like I could look at the image and have a totally different poem in mind than anyone else. That's why I said it's like an acrostic. You can, not that I'm good at those either, but I'm not artistic. Bob is the collagist in the family. But I could appreciate, the art, and wow, I didn't know you were, so talented in art.
It's look, anyone can make this is no lessons, no skill required. This is just free form. I mean, literally, you just look at the things, pull them out, and you don't have to give it any thought. Just like, oh, there's some feet with a wolf next to it. Boom, I'm going to pull it out. I don't know why, but that's it. You're just pulling things together, and then you put them together, and you don't need to define, is it a story? Does it make sense? Why do I like that creepy looking guy? Or you can ask the whys and go, I don't know, but I'm putting them together and we'll just see what happens.
I think that's part of the reason what y'all are talking about is so inspiring to me. It's the joy and kind of the freedom that y'all approach it with, and that you've made it a social activity. When, Laura comes to your place, there's this sense of like anything could happen.
Let's make some crazy.
Let's make some crazy. Okay, that's what the title of the workshop is.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah. Well, I adore you guys, and we had a last minute cancellation, and last week I thought, well, we're gonna have to either take a Thursday off, and then I approached y'all like just a couple of days ago and said, would you be willing to do this? And they said yes. So they pulled all this together in such a short time. I just want to say thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you, Malika.
Oh,
thank you everybody for showing up for the crazy too. Thank you.
Sure.
Malika, can I say a thing?
Yes,
Can I make a plug?
Tricia. Yes.
So first of all, I'm so happy to be here, Caren. I've known you for so long, and Marjorie and Lynn, and just happy to have this community that's not so far from me. And speaking of, hey, we have to do a workshop. In mid-October, I'm starting a workshop called Writer as Editor and Mentor, and the purpose is to get more writers to feel confident and supported in bringing their poetry and poetry wisdom into the world, whether that means learning to edit for a journal or starting a press or starting their own workshops, which is what I do. And it's all by donation basis because I want anyone who's interested to be able to participate because that's how we make more poetry happen. So I'm just putting a link to my Substack where there's information on that. But yeah, we did it like a month ago, and it was so much fun and so revelatory and so supportive. And so I just recommend and invite anyone who's interested to find out more about it. And please tell me when you are going to do the collage workshop, because I would really love to be part of that.
Yes. Awesome, Tricia. Thank you. Thank you for that information too. Also, I do want to say, Shamala just wrote, "Why do you like that creepy looking guy?" is a memoir title. Why do I like that creepy looking guy? Oh man, I love this.
That could probably be just about everybody's memoir, I think, at some point.
Story of my life.
Ghostwriting. We can have a collaborative so that nobody takes blame or credit. Just it is.
That is so funny.
All right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much. I think we are ready to move towards open mic, and I may have taken liberties of adding people that did not necessarily sign up.
That is your prerogative.
You can just say, I got nothing. Our first reader is Lynn for tonight.
Thank you. By the way, I took Tresha's first version of the writer as editor, and it's wonderful and it's fun, and I urge you all to do it. It's great. Okay. White wine weather. Experienced stark sunset gazer, no small ego here. Chrysanthemum sky, round and crackling with light. A rower drifts through the late afternoon gold. And as someone who is an observer, I watch. Tree leaf also round, like clouds, impossible to capture those colors, but I'm watching and I'm memorizing this roundness that abounds. No sharp corners here. That sky, a bold strumpet, flashing skirts, laces, slips, staircases to heaven, painted in children's pastels. No beer tonight. It's white wine weather.
Fabulous. A bold strumpet. That is, my next t-shirt. Oh, that was and Jay said, I love the title. Thank you, Lynn. I have Marjorie next.
Yeah. This is a postcard poem. It's the first poem in this book that came out in 2013. And the epigraph was written on a postcard that I got, very matter-of-factly, which was unsettling. So the epigraph is, well, I'll read. The title is The Postcard. Summer is going quickly. We are very busy. My brother and his family all died in a plane crash. Hope to see you soon when we fly that way. What we scrunch on a 3x5 wants happiness, as bland as the heat waving at us from beneath its sunglasses and umbrella. Simplicity so boring we relax in it, order another drink. But somewhere between the Eiffel Tower and the Empire State Building, between your misuse and wish you were here's, fact slips in, inked lightning across skies as bright as a Las Vegas smile. In a postcard of Sunset Strip, amidst a list of Hollywood celebrities, the plane was the same as JFK Jr.'s. And on the backside of the tomb of the unknown soldier, the memorial service was short. All summer I listened for clouds cracking open with you, your brief alphabet of grief swooping in from the skies with the late morning mail. There is room here to land in the ordinary, a clearing for what is missing. I'm waiting to hear from Madrid, from Tokyo and Madagascar, where loss, I've read, lies fastest in the smallest of words.
Oh, those last lines. Oh my gosh, there are so many lines. Reminding everybody, check the chat section because people write in response. And that is, I want to know, Marjorie, where did you find that postcard?
This was a postcard that a friend sent to me about her brother dying in a plane crash, but she just kind of slipped it in very matter-of-factly with this other like chatty news. And so it's really unsettling to get this.
I mean, immediately I was already broken open with that. And then the language just kept doing it again, listening to clouds. It was beautiful. Thank you, Marjorie. Cal, I have you next. Cal, make sure to unmute before you. You want me to come back to you? We might be having technical issues. We'll come back to Cal. I've got Joan next.
Okay. This is a short
There,
one.
I didn't hear you call me.
No worries, Cal. I'll come back to you.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me to go now?
Oh, well, let's have Joan do it, and then I'll come back to you.
That's fine. Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. Over lunch, a friend tells me her dream. At a celebration in her honor, held for a dream occasion, her long dead father appeared. He encircled her with his well-muscled, unwasted arms and lifted her off her feet, but said he couldn't stay. He was busy. We laughed to think of our industrious fathers still buckling on tool belts, fix-it men in a leaky heaven. Malika is gone.
I think Malika has gone. And I'm sure she will. I'm going to keep my eye on her, hopefully coming back in. But meanwhile, Cal, your mic is ready. I think. Oh, no, Cal, your mic just went up. Now you're back. Let's hear from you, Cal.
All right. Just let me find it. Where did I put it? There we go. All right. This is a poem that I wrote about somebody else's experience as a young man in a Boy Scout camp that I went to, but this is not about me. It's called Winter Camp, Sussex County, New Jersey. Winter work party. Camp Kennetawapek. Boy Scouts, 1953. Steep old dirt road, iced over, so we walked up. Stuck, but sliding down towards a ditch. Stopped long enough to jump off. Fog created a 20-foot radius, a pearl around us. Gray afternoon. Muffled sounds almost like in snow. Sounds of unaccustomed teen silence. As branches of trees entered the pearl, we passed, never seeing their trunks. I remember strange, long time. We kids wordlessly walking half an hour in that beauty, that other world. Thank you.
Thank you, Cal. Sorry, guys, I got booted off for a moment.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, so I'm taking my video off and hoping that that was part of the problem. Thanks, guys. Pat, you're next.
Okay, I think I can't see myself now. I guess I can't. Okay, when I found out you were going to do this, I decided I would write a short poem. And so this is a short poem that would fit on a postcard. Stargazing. Some would call it a mistake. Others would say sin, the way I loved you then. Supernova in a starburst galaxy. 2 meteors headed toward collision. I cannot lie. I love you still whenever I look into the night sky.
Damn, girl. Just go ahead and light that on fire, spicy. Love
That's
it.
where it came from.
So come on, Caren and Laura, look at what you did. The postcard is freedom. I hope you'll come to the workshop, Pat. Bring your spicy.
I plan.
That's awesome.
I mean, what these little short poems, I haven't been able to keep much in my head lately. So these are great.
That's awesome. No, I think we embrace it. I think we go ahead and I love it.
Let it go where it goes.
Yeah, the freedom. And I kind of like the playfulness and approaching it with just, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Christy, I have you next.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so last week, Rob Philman was the featured reader, and he said a line in his last poem, and I had to pick up my pen and immediately write, and I did not go to bed until I finished this poem. So I'm going to read it now. The poet gave advice I yearned to follow after Robert Philman. He said, "Eat it, naked and wet." I took off my clothes, sat in a hot shower until my skin pinked. Wanted for a bowl of warmth, cooked by my love's hand, but it is late where he is, and I am here, wrapped in a blanket, writing to a poem whose words the moon and I have yet to fully drink in. Thank you.
That is gorgeous. Yeah. Wow. I told you, you should send that to Rob. I mean, yeah. And Cindy bought the book as well. That was a wonderful inspired poem. I love that when something hits. And I remember when he read that line too. It does stick with you. And you did it justice. Bob, you're next.
Okay. I actually am going to read this one because it was first published as a postcard by Fell Swoop in New Orleans. But it wasn't done as any kind of, it wasn't intended to be a postcard. He just made it a postcard. Rumors. The distance a code that only resembled. The words gathering behind the easiest explanation. He was a mannequin first, and then he was not. He was only the way the woman's story was told. What came next? A kind of response. The colors, easier then.
Wow. Yes, Bob. And that's fabulous. So that became a postcard unbeknownst to you. I love that this is sinking in with other people's experience, because Marjorie and you, and then also Pat have mentioned responses with postcards. That's awesome. Jay, I have you.
Can y'all hear me?
You're good.
Okay. I don't have my poem's really short. It's really short and it's just been this thing buzzing in my head. It doesn't have a name yet. Threads in my life that I never saw running, but they weren't unraveling, but reveling and reaching out to me like some invisible string, connecting me to you.
Ooh. What do we get? A spicy theme. And I love, but reveling that I love that line. That is gorgeous. And we're going to call that a postcard poem, Jay. It's the perfect size. Yes. That's awesome. Thank you, Jay. Cindy, I have you next.
Well, as long as we're doing short postcard poems, put this on your postcard. It's a 4-liner, and it's pretty silly. Last night I had a dream that made my blood curdle. Poetry was dead, and there was no such thing as Wordle, which I'm faithful.
Love you, Cindy. Oh, that is so good. Yes,
So-
we're gonna have fun at this. We're gonna have fun at this workshop. We are gonna have fun. Yeah, the word unraveling but reveling. That really struck me as well, Regina. That's still striking me. Tricia, I have you, and then I have Regina and Cindy B. You didn't say yes, but I put you down. If you don't want to do it, just tell me.
No, I
No.
will. I will. I'm
Okay.
good. Thanks.
Okay.
When is this workshop? Have we decided on a date?
We have not. So it'll depend. Well, I'll get up with Caren and Laura and my calendar. We will make a plan.
Well,
But I
definitely
know
tell
it's-
me.
I will.
Tell me, and I will post about it, and I'll post about it on Poetry Salon's Facebook group, and I'll be there.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Okay, I've got a poem, and this was just taken for an anthology on American pop culture, but it's after a poem by Kim Adenizio. Kim's amazing poem is called "To the Woman Crying Inconsolably in the Bathroom Stall Next to Me," and my poem is called "At the Changing Room in Target." If you were the one crying in the changing room next to me, because even the extra large swimsuit didn't cover your ass. If you bought it anyways, because it was on clearance and you just couldn't afford one extra expense after the car battery went dead and the cost of milk went up and your hours were cut while the CEO's salary rose. If you felt guilty because you were crying when you know so many people have it worse, and you told yourself you should be chanting that gratitude mantra your therapist gave you, but you should not be shoulding on yourself, but you should be feeling happy to be alive with strength enough to even go swimming. I'll tell you what the woman at the exchange counter told me, even though she was working a minimum wage job and missing one of her back teeth. Everything you're asking for is perfect. You are perfect. Just tell me what you need.
That's fabulous. And I'm so glad you responded to that poem. It's a great poem, but I love yours. And even the extra large doesn't fit your ass. I mean, you had me with that one. Regina?
100% true story.
Gosh. Excellent poem.
Okay, I just put my makeshift postcard in the chat. Okay, and admittedly, I am not really a short poetry writer, but I took an excerpt from a poem that I wrote actually when I was at a jazz concert earlier, well, on Friday. And I wrote it in the concert while they were playing. it was so moving. And life has been so crappy that, it just kind of came out. So I'm going to read to you actually the whole poem. It's entitled This Love, This Love, This Love. Written while floating in the music of master percussionist Michael Friend and the Emerge House Band. You can't know this love, this love, this love, this love that floats from heart to hands to mouth to ears to air to back again and forward. And then I am watching, feeling unseen hands caress my skin, heart clutched in throat, in mouth, because this rhythm, these calling drums, this Africa, these diaspora hands on steady bass, these climbing keys, this guitar crying out, this saxophone anointed with the ancient oil of a jazz rift, how they split the sky and make it sigh. These all stroke my mind and take me home. And all for this, that this world, this old world might tip ever so slightly towards that holy plain, that city some call heaven, where the angels, the angels, the angels do dip, laugh, fly even higher, like my mother's did, even before me.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Oh, how they split the sky. That was gorgeous. So much of it. And I like the postcard. If you click on it, I didn't know this, but you can, it'll go bigger. So if you kind of download it, if you want to take a look at it.
Right.
And that's the actual
no
picture
Karen
from,
and no Laura. That's just me saying, trying to.
Oh no, it works. That's good.
yeah.
Thank you.
And I like that it's got a photograph from the event there.
I took that. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
See, we're ready to do
Awesome.
a workshop. We're ready. Cindy B, you're our final reader for the night.
Okie dokie. All right, let me switch screens here. I got to get to the poem on my other screen here. Okay. All right, so this is a poem for the poem. Kind of an ode to the poem. When you're down or troubled, or you're happy or glad, remember there is always the poem. That shell-sized nugget of words that splits open your soul, tells you the truth, lets you know you are whole, no matter what the world may say or do. The poem advances your place, guides you to the next universal drinking pool of destiny, a cosmic watering hole. Drink long, drink well. And then what inspired this was this poem by someone called O'Shaughnessy, and it's just called Ode. And I wrote that below the poem. We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams, wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting by desolate streams, world losers and world forsakers, on whom the pale moon gleams. Yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems.
Fabulous, Cindy. And Regina quoted the one that really lets you know you are whole no matter what the world says. And I like the idea of an ode to a poem, a poem for a poem. That's wonderful.
Well, I have a poem that I wrote that I carry with me, and I keep it as it's like my pocket therapy, a poem that I wrote during a really rough time to remind me that this too shall pass.
And the unspoken ending to that is like a kidney stone, painfully and slowly.
Yes.
All right, guys. It's been wonderful to be in your company. And again, Caren and Laura, thank you so much. I mean, you had very little, and that was everything I hoped for and more.
Malika, thank you. And thank you, everybody that came tonight. This was so much
This
fun.
was a blast. I really
I
enjoyed
can't
it.
wait to have the workshop. This
I
is going to
know.
be amazing.
I'm so jazzed up.
So be thinking about, supply list and how we can do it. And I'll reach out to y'all and we'll kind of talk at some point.
I'm crazy excited.
Cindy B just wrote, "You guys are the best." This is my favorite night of the week.
It's the
All right,
best.
guys.
You guys.
Be
Thank
well.
you.
Good to see everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Who's featuring next week?
We don't have somebody right now, and